Greetings, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whenever you are hanging out, checking out this video, maybe on a replay. Thanks for hanging out on the Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk. Tom is on his way, and we will see him shortly. That was a lot of alliteration right there. That's all I have to say about that. I want to say hail to everybody that's rolled in so far. We've started off with 15 people in the chat. Hopefully we have as many likes. Keep an eye on the likes, guys, because they've been bouncing up and down recently. We've seen a lot of crazy when it comes to likes. There's videos out there about it now from all of your favorite creators saying, hey, where's our likes? It's been nuts. We had a live stream weirdness happening on Sunday, if you were with us at that point in time, and we got to see a lot of strange in real time. It was very odd indeed. But let's say hi to everybody out there. We've got Valiant Renegade. What's going on, my friend? I'm glad you're taking a break. Good to see you, and thank you for being a member. We've got Runner, who is a newly branded adult at age 18 just a couple of days ago. Welcome, Runner. It's good to see you. Louvrian, Imakara, you're right that Bear Dog will probably make an appearance shortly once we're done with our nap. So he's been wrapped up in some cold pads, so he's probably comfortable at the moment. But when he wakes up, he'll probably make his appearance. Keely Chow, it is good to see you, my friend. Six is here. What's going on, Six? It is good to see you. Good to see you, and thank you for being a member. Although I think I have your full name in the membership video that we'll play at the end. In fact, I've got a couple more names to add. Hopefully, I'll get that done by tomorrow, and then we'll be all caught up on the members, which is cool. Thank you all for being here as subscribers and members alike. I appreciate all of you. Brightest Day is here. Brightest Day is doing choreography videos and building a gunpla and some other stuff on Brightest Day's channel, so check that out. That's pretty fun. We've got also another recent birthday recipient, Subhuman84. Once again, in person, my friend, happy birthday to you. I think that was yesterday or day before. Time flies, guys. Time flies. What's going on there, Apollo Patriot? Just to let you know, Casino keeps the eyes open for awesome stuff. I absolutely do, and so do you, my friend, which I absolutely love the videos that you're doing right now. I've been restarting from the very beginning on the PS5, the Ghost Recon Wildlands. Man, that thing is just awesome. And you said there's a Wildlands 2 coming, and I think we might cover that if I can find anything on it on the Le Gaming Lounge channel on Thursday. So that'll be awesome. Critisible the Crazed, what's going on? We have Captain Robert April here saying, hi-de-o. Well, hi-de-o to you, my friend. And our friend Willie Woodward is here, a creator in his own right. Somebody who's a lot of fun to hang out with late at night, on top of the fact that he's also doing some animation stuff, guys. And I hope we can get that off the ground soon. Brilliant ideas and concepts. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. YouTube's not liking a lot of people right now. Justin Proper has toenail seeds. That's very interesting. What's going on, Hugh Photographer? It's good to see you, and thank you for reaching out from jolly old London. Appreciate that. Hope your days are going well, although I think you guys are all tied up inside, which is a real bummer. I hope that ends soon. You guys should be able to get back to normal, like many of the states here in the U.S. are just kind of getting back to normal. So we'll have to see what's going on. Yeah, on EBN. Yeah, a lot of people were watching that in real time. Aluvrian, Imakara, and gosh, MXR Plays was showing what was happening. I was watching it on FNT. It's been really crazy. I don't know. YouTube obviously is working on something related to that to try to prevent from mass botting in either direction, and trying to legitimize it. At least that's what they're saying. So I hope that's true. I hope that's true. You know what? Runner is now a chew toy. Absolutely, Commander Ed Straker. You are 100% correct as of a couple of days ago. And of course, here is our very good friend, Tom. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Hey, sorry about that.
No, we're fine. I'm glad you were able to join us today. I'm just saying hi to everybody, and then we'll get up and rolling. We've got 26 people here, so I really appreciate each and every one of them. RC from the NYC says, "What's up, Chad?" Well, I hope everyone is well and safe, and so do I. So do I. Low spec Linux laptop. Good to see you, my friend. I hope things are going well at your endeavor. I'm going to try to check in with your channel today. In fact, I try to check in. Tom, how many channels do you follow? Is it something ridiculous like me? Over 300?
Yeah, way more than that.
Yeah, it's really dumb. It's really dumb.
500 some.
Yeah, it's dumb. It grows every day, and that's just on this account. On my other accounts, I've got other channels. It's just nuts, just nuts. What's up, accidental tourist? It's good to see you. We've got Dave Myers. Is it Tuesday already? Yes, it is, Dave, and it is good to see you, my friend. It's very good to see you indeed. We've got Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast. What is up, my friend? A criminally undersubbed creator, in my opinion, who desperately needs to get to 1,000 subscribers soon. So if you're not subscribed to Wes Moody Webcast, do check him out. Thank you for the super sticker, my friend. Let's see. Tim Tringle is here. Good to see you, my friend. Man, a lot of people popping in today. We've got Kai MFS, a quality writer and a great entertainer in his own right. Hopefully he gets back to his game show on Sundays. We'll see. I hope so. Dad Man Walking is here. What's going on, Dad Man Walking? I like your your little stab at Disney there. It looks like. Yeah. I guess Tom stepped away.
You digitized or I did, one of the two.
Okay. It's probably me. Let me get myself off of the screen right now because I'm having some delay. Anyway, Tom, did you say this wonderful line that I love?
Greetings, my excellent friends.
Thank you very much. And that's from Martin Acosta Santana. Thank you for being here, my friend. Another monster wants us to relax because another monster is here now. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, we're having a lot of bandwidth crunch right now. I do not know what's going on. It's weird because the country has like triple redundancy fiber, so it makes zero sense. So it's pretty much weird. Anyway, all right, Tom. Well, let's start to pop into some of this stuff and just go through. We have a couple of articles. Not going to be a super long live stream today, guys. We're just going to take it as it goes. And you know what? Since you popped in, I forgot to ask you, how are you doing, my friend? Are things going well? I know that the memberships are starting to really grow over there on the channel.
Oh, that part's doing great. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And hopefully we'll have Mead up and going soon with that as well. And yeah,
oh,
as far as that
fantastic.
goes. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you guys, and it's about time, because you guys really deserve that kind of the ability to to have people that can follow you in that way. I really do appreciate being able to be a member of your channel and of many other creators, and just to show you the kind of support that I believe that you deserve. So,
Thank you.
um, so when do you think Mead's going to get the treatment?
Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? It's
Ooh.
ready to go. It's just
Yeah.
getting it
Well,
done.
if you need anything from me, all you have to do is let me know. So I think I'll be
Normally, today is a day we do Mead. Maybe we'll drop it today just as we go live this afternoon. We'll see.
that'd be great. And then we also have, the High Council tonight, right? That's going to be pretty awesome.
Yippers.
Very excited about that. Oh, and that was something I was working on. I'll get to that. That
No
thing.
worries.
I just re-kicked my brain.
No worries.
All right, we've got Sol Leibowitz here. He's the agent to the stars, of course. I understand that you know Bat Tom. Yes, I do. And is he looking for an agent? Is Bat Tom looking for an agent, Tom? Do you know?
Probably.
Okay, because Sol Leibowitz is looking for new clients.
Reach out to him. He's got a signal.
Bat time. Do, 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 do. Man, I love that. I love bat time. Can't wait. Oh, that's right. We absolutely have to give the gratuitous shout out to Drunk 3PO
Happy
hashtag
birthday.
love Gina Carano, and to give him the happy birthday the man deserves. If you did not know, today is Drunk 3PO's 20th birthday.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's the anniversary of the 50th day after his birthday, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
It's not his birthday. That's all I know.
What? That's it? Are you sure? Because I wished
Yeah.
him a happy birthday today.
Yeah, everybody's doing it on purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, that was fun. Enjoy that.
Just to get everybody else to start doing it.
It worked. Because I did it. I'm like, holy cow, happy birthday, Drunk. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Thank you, Cavatanio Cavalry Trooper. Che says, afternoon at Culture Casino and at Midnight's Edge. Have you gentlemen read the Akiva Goldsman interview with a Hollywood Reporter?
No, I still have to get to that. I haven't got a chance to yet.
Yeah, and I haven't either. Yeah, I went through a bunch of stuff early this morning, and there were some revelations that I'm going to be putting a video together about in a completely different area when it comes to entertainment and media for a video tomorrow. But no, I haven't had a chance to go through this. I think I probably should. Maybe I'll get some insight into why his creations are so bad. Maybe it's there. Maybe it's in that interview.
Yeah, I know he said some stupid shit in there, so I can't wait to get to it.
No, it's not new. It's not new. All right, and then wow, anything else you guys are working on over there before we jump into the first thing that I want to talk about?
Not that I can really promote or anything. I know we've been dropping some stuff for the members. Other than that, I haven't. I know Andre's working on something coming up here, but I have no idea exactly what yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll of course keep tuned in. We'll wait for the notifications if we get them. So hopefully we can continue to promote each other, guys, because that's going to be how we're going to overcome whatever's going on right now with YouTube. Because my goodness, strange days indeed. So with that being said, Tom, the primary subject for today is Georgia keeping their projects intact from film and television. I don't think they're in any danger of losing a large number of them because they're so deeply invested in those projects and productions. I mean, this comes on the heels of what this story Deadline has been pushing for basically 2 days at this point in time. And aside from this production, I haven't heard anything else. Have you?
I think I heard of a couple others.
Were they significant in any way?
I'm trying to think.
Because Disney can't pull out right now, and all the big Warner projects that are down there can't pull out right now.
Nothing major that I can think of offhand. I mean, unless somebody remembers better in the chat. I mean, what's going to be stupid, and I made this joke yesterday on the show, is all these people that are going to pull out of this shit, they're just going to turn around and end up going to some state that has worse laws anyway. So
yeah,
whatever.
And so this is like the dumbest thing I think I've seen in a long time. I'm like, okay, this is really not all that stringent, right? And this type of reaction doesn't make sense. And now you are actually in a battle with consumers that you've created.
Well, not just that. There's a bad precedent that's been set for the last few years here, where corporations are using their power to sway the government, which is fucking scary.
It is.
I mean, we already deal with it anyway through lobbyists and other situations, but they're just blatantly doing it. Honestly, how is this legal? I mean, really, I isn't there some kind, I mean, it may not be illegal, but I would think they almost can't do this, because to me, it's almost like blackmailing like the government. It's to me, it's weird. I just don't get it.
Yeah, look, there are certain things that corporations can and can't do. There's bylaws in their own governance that require them being good corporate citizens.
I guess they're not actually saying they have to change the laws. They're just saying they're deciding not to because of. Yeah. But regardless, to me, it just seems kind of.
But that's going to ring hollow because there's 23 states that are essentially going to give them the middle finger. So you're not going to do business in half the country. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially when there's, think about it. There are states where, like, for example, Georgia, where there is significant tax incentives in making your productions there. There has been a capital investment by the studios themselves to produce productions there. So I found that very strange. It's counterintuitive. Now, if this is where this weirdness crosses over with politics, and we don't talk politics on my channel, Tom, but and you know that, but is that the concept of stakeholder capitalism is contrary to what the requirements are at a corporate level for a corporation to act in their stockholders' best interests. So this is clearly not within a stockholder's best interest if this is done at a studio level. That could be a real problem. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because if they already had set up production in this place, that it's going to take extra money and time now to set up somewhere else. Whatever incentives they had to be there in the first place may not be in place somewhere else they decide to go. The whole thing is just kind of ridiculous to me. It reminds me of the whole baseball thing where they decided to move the All-Star game out of Georgia, and then they ended up moving it to Colorado, which has even more stricter laws.
Stricter voting regulations, and the population racially is far less diverse. And it's like you went out of your way to do something extra stupid, and you were called out on it. And not only that, I mean, it's a bad look. It's a bad look, and this is the problem right now with the people that are involved and invested in these thoughts, because to them it was low hanging fruit. Well, let's hop on this bandwagon, right? And that bandwagon is ultimately, going to create other competitors and other things, and it's going to reduce the amount of money that they make. And when it comes to television and film, and you know this because you pay attention, demographics for these things have stepped down, or have trended older for a very long time, and have stepped down when it comes to younger people. Younger people don't consume media the way that these studios would like them to.
No, they're too much up their own ass to watch TV.
That's probably true. We raised a very narcissistic generation, but I don't know. I mean, like right now, I think CBS is trending towards the 60s now. I think last time I saw the numbers was 59 to 61.
That's nothing new, though.
Well, but CBS is for the much older people. Fox is the youngest at 37 to 39.
Yeah, if anything, their demographic went way back.
Yeah, and the believe it or not, the main target demographic for CW from 2015, which was in that really narrow age 15 to 25, was where they were trying to get. That went up to 17 to 20 to 29, and then it.
There's a good example right there. They got shit fucking ratings for just about everything on the CW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and do you know what their biggest consumer is for those crappy shows? 50 plus.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the reason why Superman is probably a big hit, is because it actually is attracting an older audience.
Yeah.
Look, that's a good example of showing that these kids don't get involved. They don't stay involved. They're not supporting the shit you're putting out there for them. Batwoman's a perfect example of it. What are they trying to do here exactly? And I'm not saying that, don't make shows starring black people and don't make shows that aren't, diverse or whatever. But the point is where do they think that superhero and most genre fare is going to cross over all these demographics anyway? Like, seriously, it's never been that way. It's been a niche of a niche forever. And then not everything is fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that Hollywood, I think, forgot from the start. The new thing should be, not everything is fucking Marvel. Not everything is going to cross over that demographic bridge to every, quadrant. And that's one thing, like, most of these properties never fucking will. Hopefully they're just starting to learn that with Star Trek, but it doesn't look too likely. I mean, Emma Watts said that, but we're seeing a lot of crazy shit go on over there. But Paramount and CBS are in the fucking dumps anywhere. They're trying to do any desperate thing they can right now to get any kind of attention because they lost all their Chinese investors. They've lost all hope when it comes to Paramount Plus because that thing was DOA. I mean, they're still spending money like there's no tomorrow, and they're losing people on television, and they aren't gaining any new subscribers on Paramount Plus. So it's a lose-lose situation for them. Wake up, Hollywood. This new demographic that you're waiting to come into existence doesn't give a shit. They don't care. They have zero fucks to give about any of this crap you're pumping out, and they won't care in 10 years from now either. They're not going to be the kind of fans that you used to have.
Yeah.
You know, they're instant gratification generation. Everything is disposable. That's why Twilight is a fucking joke now. Or we'd have 3 incarnations of Twilight by now.
Well, we actually kind of do, don't we? Have Sparkly Batman coming up soon?
Well, no, but I mean, by now, if it was that property was, I know, but like if that property was still lucrative enough, wouldn't we have like another version of the movies by now, or another like a TV series of it or something? We've had nothing since the last one, and that was what 10, 15 years ago. Well, the same thing was shown with, go ahead with all the.
No, I was just going to say, to add to that trend continued on with that show Supernatural, which went for 15, 16, 17 seasons. I think it's 15, and it just ended. So I think that trend into that kind of stuff. I mean, you're starting to see the fade because the audience is disappearing. So you started out in the mass media, the film, and then you went into television, and that's starting to tank. I mean, I don't know, but you're not wrong. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Godzillionaire is like prime example of a disposable franchise Avatar. Well, they have yet to prove they are a franchise. They got one movie. That's not a franchise yet.
Yeah, but they're more on the way, Tom. More.
I know, but we'll see how well that works out. I think Godzillionaire is right about that. It's gonna
we'll see. James Cameron has spent a lot of money on it, and he spent a lot of Disney's money on it, and he spent a lot of Lightstorm money.
It's not Terminator though. Nobody gives a shit.
No, look, he got hung up on the sea, and that's why we're getting the next film we're getting when he was doing all this deep sea exploration stuff that he was all.
Well, then he should be making The Little Mermaid instead, because nobody gives a shit about Avatar.
Yeah, but when it comes to these things like Tim Tringle and like obviously Karen Prime was addressing is, this all comes down to these companies acting like individuals, which again, they are, by definition of the law, they're a singular legal entity, which means they're also responsible as a singular entity. But the people that run the company it can be held in well, they could be in a lot of trouble for illegal acts done by the entity, regardless of their level of culpability in some cases. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, I don't know if anybody was paid off so much as they're just probably getting some kind of tax break.
And
that's how
this works. I just wouldn't surprise it. But you're taking money away from the very people that you're trying to support, which is just asinine. But that's neither here nor there. So I don't see. There's not a financial upside to it because, I mean, in a lot of these cases, again, these things are in the works. There's contracts in place. There's all kinds of other stuff there.
Well, let's be real.
Easy to back out of.
Part of this is not even motivated by any political agenda. Mm-hmm. Part of it is because there's a lot of people who have been pissed that they've been moving all these productions out of California and into Georgia for years. Mm-hmm. And it's all because of the tax breaks, because it's expensive as fuck to do anything now in California because of all the goddamn taxes.
Well, and that's why Deadline's pushing this story, right? That's why I
don't think it's motivated so much by the political side of it. Is you got a lot of people who, like Will Smith, he'd rather stay home. Yeah. Where the fuck do you think he lives? Yeah. Where do you think 90% of the people who work in Hollywood live? They live in fucking LA. Yeah. Or right outside of in the burb. Like that they don't want to go to Georgia for 3 months.
Well,
some want to. Some do, but not. I doubt Will Smith does.
No, but you have some Hollywood stars that have been relocating to Georgia.
Absolutely. I'm not saying but
Yeah,
that's part of the problem.
yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, but it's also the industry insiders that are like, ah, shit, we can't cover this if we're not there, and we need the stuff to come back here
Well,
to
look what
LA.
happened. Okay, we had television all moved to Canada, right?
Yeah,
And a few years back, where were they making up all the movies?
they were
They
doing
were
some
making them all in
Canadian stuff too.
Australia and New Zealand.
Well,
And
in
then
Canada,
Hollywood was getting pissed that all the money was the government was getting pissed that all the money was outside of the US.
Mhm.
So then that's when Georgia started coming into play, and that's when they started moving more shit to Georgia.
Yeah, because you were. That's another reason why Pinewood did the joint venture with the Katie family. To create the Pinewood Studios there, which they're expanding again. Of course, now it's under a new name because the Katie family assumed complete responsibility for it. It's called Trillium now. But you're having stagecraft facilities built inside their sound stages. You have street scenes already built there, facades and stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing more and more things move that direction, and so are the people who were smart in Hollywood trying to make things cost less. Because no matter what, whether or not we went through the crisis that we just are going through, and pretty much for a lot of people has ended, although there's still people that are influenced by it right now, unfortunately. But big old blockbusters were going to be few and far between. And you know what, Tom? I think you and I were calling that year plus ago.
To a point, yes.
Yeah.
But I think the studios have finally learned that the kind of money that theaters bring in is not something they can just turn their nose up at yet. Because these streaming companies are not going to sustain. They're not going to sustain. I think we've learned that because the big numbers have been coming out, and they're not going to break that ceiling. They said they need 200 million subscribers. Where are they? Netflix doesn't even have that many subscribers in the US, and most of these other platforms are in the US.
Yep.
So it's going to be years, and you've brought this up a million times. It's going to be years before a lot of these companies see any kind of progress or any kind of potential income from any of this stuff. Now, granted, it is straight money coming into the studio, and it's kind of amortizing itself to a point. But look at what happened to Paramount Plus, to go back to what we were saying before. It's dead.
Yeah.
They haven't even had a chance to even get fucking started, and it's because they know right now they're dead last pretty much. They're the only last major one to make a fucking launch, and Sony went and made their deal with Netflix, so it's done. The streaming wars are pretty much over. It's all been won by Amazon, Disney, and probably HBO Max.
Yeah.
Which is what everybody predicted was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, you got 4 spots, and the people are not wealthy. And you know what? The fact that Warner is jumping into an AVOD product, and Disney's close on its heels, and there's been some rumors that the Disney Plus product and Hulu will eventually just merge into one entity.
Would make sense.
So, but we'll see. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, for the $2 Canadian super sticker. My favorite little guy, farting hearts. I love that Shiba Inu dog. I appreciate it.
Because let's be real, that's the only way Hulu's going to survive.
I think so. Even though they were the ones that exploited the AVOD model initially, I thought that was going to be the way to go for a lot of these streaming companies. And then no, we're going to go straight subscription model. And I'm like, well, okay, but people have a finite number of resources, So, I mean, how many streaming services do you have, Tom?
Too many already. And that's just it. We're already at a place where there's a lot of people who can't afford this shit anymore. They've been out of work for months, if not almost a year now, or over a year. I mean, things are nuts everywhere. I mean, a streaming service is like one of the last thing on people's minds, probably. Yeah. And even though there's been an uptick in certain areas of some of this, I'm thinking that's where some of this shit's growing stagnant now. Is partially A, people just can't afford it, and B, there's really nothing to entice anybody on there. That's the only thing that HBO Max has had a few things that, just because they're dropping shit day and date, but they've already learned they can't afford to do that. That's why starting next year, they're going to go right back to the way they used to be.
It might not even be. It might be before.
No, I have a feeling Dune is not going to drop day and date.
No,
Legendary is so pissed about all the money they left on the table for Godzilla versus Kong.
So much money. I think I talked about it the other day, and I can't remember the exact number, but the amount of money that HBO Max paid to be able to do that was not significant. It's just dumb.
Well, not only that, it's the principle of the matter.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, honestly, I believe. I mean, think about it. The thing opened huge, and that's despite the fact that it dropped
It's
simultaneously.
going to end up outgrossing the last Godzilla movie during a pandemic.
Yep. Yeah.
So
And it's a
it
good
would have been $1 billion fucking movie, no problem.
I think it would have been just under $1 billion, but yeah,
I'm not so sure on that. I think it would have made that. I think it would have crawled
think
past
so.
that $1 billion. Oh yeah, because I think because it's been sold out for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can't get it and that's what's actually limited the box office here in the States is capacity, because the theaters aren't at full capacity yet.
And you even have people that have said that even though they've seen it on HBO Max or planned on
go to the theater
watching, they're still going to go see it because it's one of those movies. And that's where Hollywood, I think they kind of noticed and they took note. And through this whole thing, they tried. It's kind of a funny kind of arc we saw. They tried to take advantage of the situation at the beginning of this whole thing, and it's kind of the whole thing's come full circle as to where, like we said at first, regardless of what you think of AMC and all these other companies, the studios cannot afford not to have that theatrical window. It's too lucrative.
And we've been talking about, you and I are like, look, this works. You have a model that works perfectly, and it's only going to get better with streaming. And that is a theatrical release, a physical media release, of a VOD and AVOD option down the road. That would have been the perfect path, right? Because you're going to make money at every single point. The only reason that the studio, I guarantee you, one of the studios is going to go, you know what? We're still going to release physical media.
Oh, they are.
And everything. Because
Sony's way ahead of that. They're still planning on theatrical and physical all the way.
Yeah, they're like, we can't do it. It's not going to artificially support the streaming. The streaming is going to have to grow over time, which is what Netflix did. People, do you realize how long it took Netflix to grow? I don't even think people even realize, because they went from being a, get your disc in the mail service to something else over time. It wasn't.
People didn't even know they had the online thing. I discovered it because they put it in one of the envelopes in an email or some shit. And at the time I went and checked it out, there was literally like 56 videos.
Yeah.
On Netflix Live. It was just, there was hardly anything there. It was a lot of public domain shit, and but it built over time. You're right. Yeah. And this was like 2005, 2006-ish, somewhere in there. Yeah. And then over time, it became the thing. And I remember working at Movie Gallery when Netflix kind of killed the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, in Blockbuster fucked up.
Blockbuster screwed up. They had the front line. They could have done, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm like looking at, what's his name, the guy that owns the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm like, dude, had you turned left instead of right, you would have been huge. I mean, it would have. It
could have got Netflix for a song.
Yeah, those are just nuts. Just nuts.
Before you know it, then Netflix was like bigger than they were.
Yeah, fast, and then exponential growth. It was very impressive. So, but it didn't come all overnight, and that's what most people don't realize with a lot of this stuff. I mean, streaming services. If you're a CEO, you cannot go out there and tell your investors that this is the path forward, which is what Disney did. I don't even know. They sacrificed so much to expand the services so quickly into markets they were 3 years away from going into.
It's just it wasn't completely overnight. Like Tim Tringle said, it took around 10 years for it to get to streaming only. But they're not streaming only. They still have the DVD thing. What they screwed up with is when they tried to separate the two companies, it was a kind of a snafu. So like they kind of killed their disc-based company almost altogether overnight.
Yeah. Well, Louvrian Imakara says, via combo mount +++ isn't the bestest ever. No. There are Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. We're talking 50 television series a year and 50 films a year is what 52. Their target numbers were. 52, excuse me. So one a week, right?
Yep, and then not only that, they went and spent a bunch of money on getting the exclusive rights to MGM's movies for like in the catalog for like the next couple of years, which they don't have exclusive access to the catalog, but they will have exclusive access to the films. And the biggest of and only one I think MGM has coming out is Bond.
Which is so
and Creed 3, which hasn't even started filming yet. So that's like still
yeah.
Fugazi yet to this point.
Yeah, and we don't even know where that film is going to end up. So, and because interest may fade now that it's been definitely determined there will be no Sly in it, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I want to get to
I think there's a reason for that, though. I think they're going to do another spin-off one with Creed and Rocky and with Rocky and
I hope so.
Rocky and Drago.
Drago, yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh my god, that'd be awesome. Avatar 2 is Space Titanic. Yeah,
probably.
I know. Yeah, kind of. I want to say thank you to our friend Darth Hasser for the super sticker, which is a smiley face with some cool sunglasses. So thank you for that, Darth Hasser. Guys, if you didn't know, Darth Hasser has a YouTube channel and has that mask that he's wearing right there. It's pretty cool. You can definitely check out his channel and check out his content from time to time, live stream, stuff like that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thanks for being here, Darth Hasser. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let's see. We've got, man, so many people flew in on the chat. I appreciate it. Oh, and Megs, thank you again for joining the membership today. I appreciate that. I'll be sure to add your name to the credits as soon as I possibly can. I think that's, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate all the support that you give to everybody in the community. And of course, you know, we're just blessed with an amazing group of people that like to listen to us talk all day. It's insane. Insane. RC from the NYC says Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for nothing and passed, thinking they would not survive. Now there's only one Blockbuster store left. Yeah.
And that's just basically in name only.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like a gift shop.
It's more or less like, just kind of it's a tomb.
Who owned Blockbuster? Viacom.
That's very true. God, isn't that funny how big? Oh, look, like you guys don't even realize how 25 years ago, how big Viacom was.
Yep.
I mean, there was a point where there was HBO, or there was Warner Brothers, there was Disney, and there's Paramount. And those were the big three. Universal was there, Fox was there, but this was pre-Comcast Universal, you know. Like, Viacom was a big bastard on the block, and then they went and split it up. And they fucked it all up.
Oh, I can't even. Do you realize how many times you saw the little red square with the V in it and the three dots for Viacom? I mean, it was on so much stuff. I can't fathom that doesn't, you know, National Amusements.
They were huge.
I can't even finish a sentence right now because I'm so. I just can't.
Just how you fuck that up so bad.
I don't know. Robert says Pepperidge Lantern remembers.
Yeah, right.
You guys are great. Let's see. Too woke to die. Yeah, that's going to be. Oh God, dude, Tom. Now that you're watching the Bond films, right? You're gonna love it until you get to about the second of the Craig era.
Yeah, that's the way I keep being told.
Yeah, and then you're going to be like,
yeah, I'm sure I'm not going to enjoy him.
Yeah. Rocky versus Bullwinkle. Yeah, that would be funny.
Hey, yo, you're a moose.
Yeah, it's a museum. That's right. Yeah, it is kind of a gift shop, a museum, whatnot. Yeah. It's a bummer. It's just the Blockbuster thing is just a bummer. I drive by a building that's abandoned that's never been touched that still has the Blockbuster sign on the outside every once in a while. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Diego Flores with 10 Peruvian souls. Thank you, my friend. Says, I already told you, Tom, Rocky will be a movie about he and Drago open a little Italian pizza joint in the middle of Berlin and they call it Red Stallion.
You could be right.
That would be so great. I would love that. That could be a comedy. Could you imagine taking Rocky completely into a whole other, like a different universe, right? Just kind of an other world story. Absolutely. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think it'd be awesome. See, you got lots of people to laugh in here. What's up, Stone Cold Jeremy? Hope your workday is easy, my friend. Viacom was what Disney is now. Yes, Tim. Yes.
Kind of, yeah. Because Disney wasn't as Disney until last 20 years either. 15
Yeah, just
years.
think about that with the national amusements and all the other stuff and everything they were involved in and into. Just my God, my God. And Disney's in danger if they really are going to ignore their theme parks and treat them like the trash bin that they're about to do or have been doing since this whole mess began. And they treat their customers in that same manner when it comes to the physical representations, which were extensions of their film products and television products, and they brought people back year after year.
Mm.
It's going to be
Well,
bad.
Disney was a funny situation because Eisner pretty much undid everything he did to build that company back up in his last few years. Like I always have to remind people, like the mutiny against him was for good reason. Like if you go back and you look at what Disney was doing before Bob, and I don't want to give Bob Iger any credit here, but
Right.
before Bob came in and fixed the problem with Pixar and bought
Mhm.
Marvel and Star Wars and shit to the mix,
Mhm.
they had, I think it was 4 out of the top 10 biggest bombs of all time
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
those recent years. And that's like with stuff like with Marsne's moms,
When when
uh,
when 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 he lost
Carter.
when Eisner lost Wells, this is the Disney company works as a partnership. It always had. And when Eisner lost Wells, there was a loss of focus. And the studio products were set to the side. The opportunities to acquire things were ignored. Again, you brought up Pixar and other stuff like that.
Right.
But Eisner had been the saving grace and kept them away from being purchased by an outside entity because Disney could be owned by a Japanese company
Well, they
today.
were almost dead
Yeah.
if it wasn't for The Little Mermaid and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They were going
Doodle,
to die.
doodle, 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 doo, Viacom.
Yeah. No, Disney was on the verge of pretty much like you just said. They were a pale comparison to what they used to be.
Yep.
They'd had a few minor hits, but most of their hits in that point in the late 70s to mid 80s had all been, the few adult hits they had done. So there was no real reason to keep the animation department around.
No.
Things were looking really, really shitty for them, and then they just got lucky with a string of hits there. And yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
mean, Roger
great.
Rabbit saved that company.
Yeah, and you had Lasser, and you had all these great minds you brought in along in the Pixar and everything else. The ramp back up was pretty good. So I don't know. I can talk Disney stuff all day long, but that's just me.
Yeah, Wes
Uh,
says he loves Tron, but yeah, that was one of the things that in the '80s that damn near killed him.
yeah, well, that was a whole new tech. I mean, Disney did at
It
times
wasn't
innovate.
really as big of a flop as people think, but yeah, it
No,
was just
no, and it was a brand new tech. It was brand new, and without that, we wouldn't have some of the stuff in the tech we do in film now, or we might have gotten it much much later. Hard to say. But yeah, the late fees at Blockbuster were a little rough. Yeah, and you're probably right. Sumner probably hadn't read King Lear. Probably right. Yeah. This is where I preach Hollish info from Trek Capitalism and Heyday Cookies, Star Trek Capitalism in Action, or Trek Action. I don't know how this Twitter works, but I'll keep slinging zing.
I hardly know how Twitter works either, man. Don't feel bad.
Ah,
Or
the Star Trek communism thing,
oh
over the
god,
weekend was just wicked stupid. I don't even know how to begin. They're you don't have you have no economy in communism or socialism or even Marxism, despite thought processes. It doesn't exist. That's the whole point, is destroying, and you destroy the incentive. I don't even want to talk about it. It's too political. Is what it is. Low spec. Hey, good.
take
Oh, well,
care.
thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Good to see you. I saw El Punk Trace roll in. He says, I prefer Hollywood Video over Blockbuster. A lot of people did. I actually had one equidistant of each in from me. So there was times I'd go to Hollywood and times I'd go to Blockbuster. So yeah,
Hollywood was bought out by Movie Gallery, if I remember right.
I think you're right. And yeah, you're right. But he's also the one that innovated the way the ticket cycles would go. So you're not wrong, Robert. You're not wrong. Yeah.
No, but even Disney, even the parks were in they were stale when he kind of came in. Like that was the other thing is they had not innovated anything in 20 some plus years,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't for, they brought in like, all the new stuff like the Epcot Center and Captain EO and
Yeah.
all the newer rides and experiences that,
Mhm.
I mean, some of which still exist today, but like, yeah, that was one thing is Disney hadn't really innovated anything since the
Yeah.
death of Walt.
Yeah, and that again, they needed Eisner at that time. Led by again a Disney relative. That stockholder revolt, the replacement of the slate, that was all because of Roy O, I believe, the son of Roy Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim Tringle says no company can ignore fans or make mistake after mistake. Ask the ex CEOs of once great companies. No, absolutely, you can't.
But they're doing it.
Oh, I know, to their own peril. I mean, uh, every time this has happened, that's what's gone. Yeah, Japan, they treat that park. Oriental Land Company treats those parks just so very well, and you are getting the best of the Disney experience in Japan now. Not here in the States, but in Japan. And I like to try. Roger Rabbit's an awesome film. I think Tom would
One of
agree.
my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Viacom needs to whip the CBS side back into shape before they all have to find new jobs. It's national amusement.
Honestly, you want my opinion on it?
Sure.
They should dump it. Fucking sell
Wow.
it.
Ditch CBS, huh?
Hell yeah. It's what is it worth to them?
The
What
broadcast
shows do
side
they
is
have anymore?
the broadcast side's okay.
Broadcast is gonna die. Broadcast is gonna be dead in fucking 10 years.
I think maybe 20, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, 20. Well, everybody's already moving over to streaming.
Yeah, but that's the problem. See, the cost to move to streaming was the whole reason to change to streaming because it was low cost way of getting your
Yeah, but
entertainment.
they've almost made it impossible now to get networks free over
Yeah,
the air. I mean, you can, but
yeah.
it's damn near impossible.
Well,
Um, in half the time, unless you live in a really decent area, you're not going to get shit.
hmm. Hmm. At my Hollywood, the shelves were too close together and the whole shop was claustrophobic. It was a little tight. They didn't like to waste square footage on product. They were a little cramped. I do remember that. Yeah, that's stores that are stocked but have wide
Tim
aisles.
Jingles like they just finished buying it. Well, they
Where
just remerged.
oh yeah,
They were the same company for Christ. Viacom bought. See, let's see, which one did they buy first?
just another red shirt. I never thought anyone could do worse than Eisner in the last years at Disney. But then Iger said, "Hold my Chardonnay."
Pretty much, you're right. Like, because there was a time where I could sit there and say Eisner was worse than Iger, and then now it's getting to that point where Iger's doing what Eisner did in half the time.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a shame. I mean, and again, that's one of the reasons why he's on his way out the door. He didn't want to leave a legacy like Eisner did with a lot of stuff that was just half done, poorly executed, whatnot, that, kind of left a stain. But he's got a permanent stain now. He does.
Yeah.
He was the guy that guided. It was the guiding hand that led Star Wars into its decline and decay. And I'll never let anybody forget that ever.
Well, I mean, here's my thing with the whole CBS Paramount thing.
Mhm.
I think both would be much more powerful if you separated the two and
Absolutely.
left them completely separate. And that means no under the same umbrella bullshit. And that's what I'm saying. Sell one of them off, but make sure all the properties and IPs are properly, buttoned up,
Yeah.
however you're going to do it,
And
and
the
get it
rights.
done.
Yep. And the rights are sorted in the whole nine. So
And just chuck one or
yeah.
the other because you can't. In this day and age, you just can't. Not if unless you're somebody like Comcast or something like that has the infrastructure to handle both a network and a film studio. You need to separate. It's not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Disney and ABC are the rarity, and that's just because. And I don't even know how much longer that's going to last.
Disney and ABC. I don't. I've
I
thought
just
about
foresee
that
ABC
lots of times.
just kind of disappearing at some point.
They need that though. They need that
For
broadcast.
now, yes.
Yeah, it's hard to say. And
They'll
again, I
sell it
mean,
off eventually.
maybe they'll part with it, but it's going to be long after they've extracted anything of value from it.
Oh yeah,
That's
of
the thing.
course.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that'll happen on the broadcast level all the way around.
I mean,
So,
I'm just spitballing bullshit here, but I mean,
uh,
it it's really come to this like end of the road. I feel like for Hollywood right now, they've got to kind of make choices, either buck up and get ready for the storm to come. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to afford to go forward anymore in this kind of economy.
yeah, I think yeah. Man, the next 3 years are going to be so telling. I can't even, I can't even believe how. I mean, it's really going to be telling uh, in entertainment.
They haven't really slowed anything down, and that's what I kept trying to tell people. Hollywood will not spend less money. They will
No.
just find other ways to make you pay for it. It's just, I don't know why that's so difficult for some people to understand.
They're having less money and they're making less money. It's going to be weird.
They're still going to find ways to spend it.
That's true. Very true.
And then they'll just, like I said, find a way to make somebody else pay for it. So,
Yeah, CB. It's a platform. Yes, thank you, Kurtzman. Yeah, and that's the whole problem. Is all of these people are looking at this as a platform. We need to use our platform to do this. No, you need to tell good damn stories and make freaking money. The minute you start treating it that way, that's the beginning of the end. Because now,
yeah.
just I mean, not to mention what's happening with CNN right now and the exposure that just happened in the last couple of hours. But that's bad news for Warner Media. That's not what you wanted. You were trying to shed that anchor because
Well,
CNN is an anchor.
see, yeah, CNN's one of the companies that's given AT&T a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
They've made it. They're one of the companies that have made it very clear that there's a separation between church and state within Warner and AT&T.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's going to be an interesting couple of years. I think you're right, culture, but it's sad. We're stuck at this point where the lesser of two evils is where we're at. We would love it if Hollywood would just be more about, the bigger bang for the buck anymore. I would love to go back to the exploitation of it all. It's just, I would take some of the lesser crappy run of the mill sequels and popcorn films we used to get just to get out of this rut of nonsense. I mean, because that's what's sad. I mean, when I first got into this stuff, it wasn't really so much of the interjected politics at that time. It was just that everything was crappy.
And I always have looked at it from both sides, from the business side and the sheer enjoyment side of things. I mean, I was entertained by most of these products up until like the last 5 years, 6 years, and I bailed out of comics in '04, but that was there's a lot. I mean, you just age out. Sometimes people just age out of the medium, but there were obviously reasons going back to '04 was why I was stepping away. But it just I look at it from the business thing and I'm like, none of this makes any sense. And I'm watching money being spent hand over fist right now. And I'm like, how are you justifying this? At some point, somebody's going to say, you can't do that. You're going to make the company go under.
Well,
And
loonies have taken over the loony bin, and they were real good at hiding the bullshit for a while.
not
I mean,
now.
I think you're right to a point, culture, that sooner or later people are going to start noticing. But it's going to still take some time because every time we turn around and think we're making some progress, something happens to make everything get
we were
pushed back even more.
we were so close.
And yeah,
If this last year hadn't happened, we were so darn close.
to
But
a point, yeah.
I do want to acknowledge, I want to say thank you, Atlantean, for your $2 super chat, my friend. It's good to see you. Hope you're being safe today at work. It says, hail culture. Well, hail to you, my friend. Hail to you. Iger, the kid that found his parents' credit cards and went on a spending spree. Yes, Soul Assassin. Yes, that is what happened. It worked for a period of time. That's the thing. It worked until he got to Star Wars.
Pretty much.
It worked. Yeah. And I think Louvrien is interested in buying Star Trek. I will be happy to negotiate this contract. You got that 50 cents kicking around in your change dish. I will see what I can do.
Yeah, it's not worth what it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Robert says Bat Tom Radio shorts like The Shadow would do well. Do
Maybe
it. I would love that. The Shadow. The Shadow knows.
somebody's got some time to write it for me. I ain't got time for shit.
You know, I'm seriously thinking about hiring somebody to finish writing the script because I have all my like chicken scratch in my outline and everything else, and I'm
Well,
in
I'm
this writing process. And I just
seriously looking for some editors. So,
yeah.
but we'll see how that goes.
Oh, question. What happened to at CNN? Something stupid, I'm sure. Oh yeah,
Y'all are making this shit worse.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Y'all motherfuckers need to get the hell out of here.
It's a Veritas thing, Malubrian. You can find it easy on Twitter right
Oh,
now.
that I don't know anything about that part.
Oh yeah, but they're definitely and they've been making it worse for a while. I guess they're like some stuff was being hidden and being redirected to old information about what was happening in Minnesota through some kind of Google thing or I don't know. There's all kinds of weirdness going on right now, kids. So and Brightest Day is explaining it, so that's cool. All right. Oh hey, it's Fat Steven Seagal. What's up, my friend? It's good to see you. I'm close every time I close my eyes. All right, buddy. All right. Dragon King 27 says, "Oh yeah, I saw the PV video too. Yeah, I think a lot of people have. Yeah, PV is doing some yeoman's work. Yeoman's work is how it could be referred to, in my opinion. Again, and I don't do politics on my channel, so it is what it is. But I did a parody of The Shadow for a church thing. It appeared to go over well. Oh, that's cool. Maybe BLM could buy CBS. Seems like their business model is working." What's going on, Captain Trek, my friend? Someday I'm going to get my lazy butt up a little bit earlier so I can catch your morning shows, my friend, because that's freaking awesome. So, but it's good to see you. It's very good to see you. I think we have Trekking tonight. Do we not, Mr. West Moody? I hope we do.
Well, BLM works, don't you know it? You take all that money and then it lifts up the black community. Well, like one person in the black community.
Hey, you know what? Nice houses. You know, and Marxism is very profitable for a handful of people. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, very profitable indeed. What's up, Mad Mardigan? Normally, right about 2 minutes or a minute and a half from now, Mad Mardigan and I would be starting our adventure on Street Smarts. But anyway, so we are not. Although tomorrow, I think there's a new show that's spawning. Am I not? Am I correct, Matt? I think you can promote that. You have a wrench.
Why aren't you doing Street Smarts, huh?
We are our third compadre is occupied. Yeah, it doesn't look good for the news network there. It really doesn't. Yep, we are definitely trekking tonight. Cool beans. All right, that's awesome. Fun stuff. Enter the Gungan. Enter the Gungan. Enter the Gungan. Okay.
The Gungans.
The Gungans. You guys are so funny. What do we got? Well, it lifts that one person out of the black community and into the wealthy white community. Well, it did. It did. Man, that stuff's never going away. We're going to be able to point at the hypocrisy. You got people thinking there's money laundering going on, all kinds of other shenanigans. There's some problems there. It's going to be very weird. So, but not to get too deep into that. One last thing I want to talk about today.
Not that it's any of my business.
No, it's not my business. One last thing I want to talk about today is something very sad. This is sad news. This is sad news because if you've ever been to LA and you've ever been to one of these, you're bummed out. And the ArcLight cinemas and Pacific theaters won't be reopening. I did this story on the 6-Minute Daily today, and it's a huge bummer to the Cinerama and other dome theaters that just kind of are spotted around in California and other parts of the country as well. The parent company handed back the keys to the landlords in something that I believe is called a thick lease deal, which means that the landlords, if they choose to or elect to, can hand the keys back to enforce the lease, and then that changes the what the steps from there. But this is a real bummer because these theaters are iconic, and many of them were opened by megastars at the time, like Buddy Hackett and Cary Grant, and several of the biggies back when we
Now,
actually
are they a chain or are they an independent company?
ArcLight. It's a pretty big company. Their parent company is Decron. So, but what's really weird is ArcLight just hired a guy a month and a half ago away from somebody else. I don't remember if it was AMC or it was one of the other big theater exhibitors to act as their CEO and COO of the company. So I'm like, what's happened here? You just hired somebody to help you come out of this, and now you're saying we're not even going to bother?
Well, that's what happens when you're a chain and you decide not to open your doors,
Yeah.
dumbasses.
Well, and think about how this is one of those iconic screens. There was a war fought between Disney and Tarantino for the exhibition rights in one of these because these screens are made in these theaters are made in an amazing way where you
Yeah.
have this 185-foot screen. It's ridiculous. I mean, and the sound is incredible and all of that.
Well, a lot of this has probably more to do with most companies aren't releasing 70 millimeter prints anymore either. And I
Well,
think that's part of it.
yeah, but even then, I mean, you just draw the curtain in and utilize the screen that it'll fill. But it's just, and that's what they do for films that aren't that big. I mean, but you're still getting some ultra wide format releases. I don't know, man. It's just a huge bummer.
We're going to see a lot of the chains go away. Now, when I said earlier that the studios need theaters, the problem was a lot of these theaters were closed during this whole time, except for the local theaters and the independents and the smaller chains. That's where they took advantage of the situation. But even here, it says that doesn't mean the chain is bankrupt. There, I see.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Is this is what they call a thick lease deal, where they hand the keys back and they hope that the landlord doesn't hand them all back to them. So who knows? I really hope that they survive. Something happens with this. If you want to see one of that really famous Cinerama Dome, they're telling you here it's in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
So,
I know what it is. I mean, you can find videos on YouTube about
yeah,
it too.
yeah, and it's just a huge bummer.
Somebody will pay for it. Tarantino will probably buy it. You watch.
Well, actually, people are trying to get Netflix to buy it. So
why would Netflix buy it?
I don't know, but anyway, it's just really really cool. Anyway, it is what it is. It's just a real bummer. I thought that'd be worth mentioning and talking about and stuff like that. We're not just losing theaters; we're losing famous actors, writers. We lost one of the most iconic stuntmen recently. It's just so many people were leaving us. So many things are leaving us right now. All in service of, to some extent, is service to some just ridiculousness in the world. That's just sad. So. And yeah, supposed ghost. It was a Tinder date that PV got him on. Absolutely, very weird. Oh yeah, and the pilot episode for the new show, Tom, you might like this show. Is called The Last Best Opinion, and it is the 257th panel stream talking about the news of the day. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a brilliant concept. We've been brainwashing it for a bit. So yeah, Cinerama was amazing. Absolutely. What's up, geeks? Enjoying Nerdrotic? How's it going, Pickles? Good to see you, man. What's up, Disease? Disease saying hi to everybody. What's going on, my friend? Man, we got to wind down.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
All right. You saw Hateful Eight on 70 millimeter, only to be disappointed that the whole movie was in a cabin.
No, not the whole movie, but a lot of it.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
Most of it. I'll give them that.
This is true. This is a true statement. Thank you, Valiant Renegade. Netflix could buy it and put their own material in a theater to make all their productions Oscar eligible. There you go. Netflix has a lot of internationally produced stuff that's incredibly diverse. So it would circumvent a lot of the bologna sausage that the Oscars have been trying to make happen, which if you listen to our good friend Latino Slant, also Midnight's Edge and Espanol, right? You would know that Hollywood's almost always it's been there for a long time. It's already been most of these things have been these bases have been covered as far as diversity in film production stuff, in television.
Pretty much.
It's insane. Yeah. Thanks very much for being here, Wes. It's good to see you. You should be happy, Captain Trek. You want that kind
What'd
of
you
thing.
do now?
Captain Trek is like one of the nicest people in the world. Yeah, that usually means that, you're over the target, right, Tom? Over the target.
Hit somebody off, I guess.
I can't imagine anybody not liking Captain Trek, though. Good to see you, Fenrir Fire. Hollywood has reinvented itself many times, yeah, but not in the conflagration that's coming. Because I see a great conflagration. I don't know about you, Tom, but I really...
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. I predict the burning of things. But something will rise from the ashes, and we have a lot of really good product out there in the world.
The thing is, where can they go from here? They've already been bought by some of the biggest companies in the world.
You can't go anywhere. That's the thing. That's the problem. You get so big that you become stagnant, lackadaisical. You don't innovate. You don't produce anything of quality or substance any longer. And it leaves room for somebody else to come in and do those things. And like I said, we still have to call out and yell at, point at all of the things that are going on that are wrong in the universe. But at the same time, we just make our own stuff. There are going to be very successful people making their own stuff. There really are. And thank you, Ken Jack Ben. Pumpkins for everyone, my friend. Absolutely.
For some reason.
Yeah. Don't you think we're going to start to see even more independence out there in the universe?
Maybe. But the more they are, the bigger they're going to make that gate.
Maybe.
The more successful you are, the more they're going to resent you and not let you in.
Well, I don't want to be in.
No, I know, but that's the thing is it'll be the difference between something that's considered a real movie and something that's made by a fan. And that's the thing is I know that's part of it too, is there's this fear that somebody out there is going to do it better than them. Why do you think they hate fan films so much?
Yeah, actually, I have an article that I want to cover at some point, and you and I are going to do it. It goes back a long, long way, reaching back very, very far into the minds of some of these Silicon Valley brains, where essentially they outline the fear of the video camera and the ease of availability of editing software and stuff like that. And we're going back years now. This is not something recent. This is reaching back into 2015, where they're panicking that it's possible for independent entertainment to arise from the masses, from the public, that will overcome these other entities. So they saw it coming then.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wind down. Thank you so much for your time today, Tom. I hope that I didn't take up too much of it. That's a lot of alliteration. I do that a lot. Holy cow. And I want to say thank you to the chat. Thank you guys all for stopping by here. I really do appreciate all of your support. I know Tom does as well. We did pretty well with 46 of you in the chat, even though we're competing with the real BBC right now. Thanks for being here, guys. Do be sure to check out tonight's show with our buddy Tom over on WCBS called The High Council. Prior to that, I think you can check out the Dark Council and several other amazing programs. Tom, anything you'd like to talk about before we sail off?
I'm casting for a porno that may or may not ever happen.
Okay. All right. So if you're interested in that kind of work, reach out to Tom. I'm sure he'll figure out how to do a proper casting. I appreciate each and every one of you. As I said, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until tomorrow on the 6 Minute Daily, bye.